There's a device that I've been using called a Whoop.
Hello and welcome back to IGOW4. I'm HDZero Dan, and it is time for weekly challenge number 7, the HDZero inverted orbits. So I'm actually at multi-GPIO right now. So this week I had heads of Infinity Loops help me make the challenge video and come up with the requirements. This week's challenge is going to be very difficult, especially if you've never even tried an inverted orbit before. The switching back and forth between inverted orbits is a pretty advanced move, but once you get the hang of it, it's not too bad. But in IGOW4, remember, we only have 17 total weeks, and we have to be down to 16 people by the end of it. So some of these challenges are going to be pretty difficult, but it's not going to get more linearly difficult every week. Like, as you'll see, I think week number 8 is not going to be quite as challenging as week number 7, but still difficult. Anyway, if you think there's a challenge that's basically impossible for you and you're not going to be able to do it, you can just skip that week, and then maybe next week will be something that you feel is more likely for you to pull off. Anyway, let's go over to Heads right now so he can explain this week's challenge.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Heads here from Infinity Loops, sitting in for Skittles while he is at I.O. Speaking of I.O., inverted orbits. Hey, week number 7, brought to you by HDZero, inverted orbits. Inverted orbits, also sometimes referred to as trippy spins or wonky nips, are much like a regular orbit where you're going to be flying around a point of interest in a circle. However, instead of looking slightly down and towards the object, you're going to be facing away from the object, and your camera is going to be kind of looking at the very top of the object. It'll be right around the top portion of your view in your goggles, right around up there. So you want to hold that item that you're flying around in that top part of your screen on your goggles. We like to refer to these as wonky nips because if you're looking at the sticks of your radio, you're either going to be tilted inward, like if my nips were a bit cross-eyed, or outward. Either way, depends on which direction you want to spin your quad. Inverted orbits are a careful balance of throttle, a little bit of pitch, and a balance of yaw and roll in opposite directions. There are a lot of really good tutorials out there on YouTube, one of which you can find right on Infinity Loops under the Whooptorial Wednesday playlist, where you can find inverted orbits or trippy spins, however you want to refer to them. There's also plenty of other really good tutorials out there done by whoever your favorite tutorial FPV trick channel is. I'm sure they probably have a breakdown of inverted orbits or trippy spins.
Alright, we're at I.O. at the Airbnb editing the IGOW video for week 7 because it's raining outside. And we need an HDZero sponsor segment. So we got Ryan Collette right here. Cube, how many pilots for World Cup you think are going to be HDZero on the podium?
I think all 3
That's exactly what I was going to say. I agree.
Why do you think?
Because like all of the top pilots are flying HDZero now. Pretty much, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, if you want to be on the podium for champs or multi-GPIO, fly HDZero.
So let's get into the requirements for this week's challenge. Firstly, I would suggest finding a point of interest that is tall, especially if you're new to doing inverted orbits, and something that has quite a bit of a canopy on the top of it. Something maybe like a parking lot, how they have those lights with the stretched out arms on the top of them with the light hanging off the end, or a tree with a nice canopy. Something that'll be easy to keep in your DVR top section of your DVR view while you're flying. The first thing you're going to want to do is 2 consecutive clockwise inverted orbits around your point of interest. While you're doing these, it is very important that you leave the point of interest in the top section of your goggles when you're flying. It needs to be in the top of the screen. If it starts to leave on the edges of the screen, try again, try to clean them up and make sure that it stays centered in the top of the screen. So after you've done the 2 clockwise inverted orbits, the requirement number 2 is going to be 2 consecutive counterclockwise inverted orbits. So whatever direction you were going on requirement 1, you must do 2 consecutive in the opposite direction. Requirement number 1 and requirement number 2 can be done in 2 separate clips. However, for requirement number 3, you're going to need to do it all in one clip. And for requirement number 3, you're going to need to do at least 1 counterclockwise or clockwise, it's your call which one you do first, inverted orbit. Once you've done at least 1 rotation, doesn't have to be, you can go a little fancy, do a little more if you want, but at least 1 full rotation with the point of interest in the very top of your DVR, doesn't go down onto the sides. After doing at least 1, you need to do a switchback. I like to call them a switchback. I'm not sure if there's a better name for them, but I'll explain it. And then you're going to go back the opposite direction to do another inverted orbit, at least 1, with the point of interest staying in the top of your DVR. Now the third requirement is a little more lenient on leaving it in the top of your view of your goggles. When you're doing the transition, the switchback, sometimes when I over-rotate to get back into the switchback to go the other direction, the point of interest will leave the top of my view for a little bit. It might creep to the side or maybe go a little wide and then come back to the center. But either way, you're going to want to keep the point of interest somewhere in your view while you're doing the switchback. Now the way I do my switchback is while doing my inverted orbit one direction, I will over-rotate, almost like I'm going to roll out of it, and then use that momentum to snap myself back the other direction to carry on going the opposite way that I started. So for all of you who learn by hearing things explained, hopefully that worked for you. Next, we should put on the goggles and I can show you how you're going to want to execute all 3 requirements. The last thing I'm going to do is show you examples with analog, considering this video is sponsored by HDZero. So let's go ahead and fly the new Happy Model Mobula 8 HDZero so we can get some sweet HD footage for this. All right, prepare your nips. Let's go outside and make it happen.
Counterintuitive, like you have to yaw the.
I mean, I know the 2 stick positions, and I just try to go from one to the other real quickly, but then it does this like extra spin. Watch. That's not allowed.
Is this going to be a week? One of the.
This is next week. See, look.
Oh my gosh.
So right, I keep doing this one, then I want to switch, then it always does that.
Does what?
I like flipped over.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, you have to stay upside down looking at it and just see. Look that. See, I'm flipping over. I don't know what. I don't know how. You gotta stay inverted.
Forward when you do it?
You think? Is that it? So every time? No. Why? It just flips over that way. I need to just change directions. I have no idea how to do.
Okay, so what you gotta do is like a revert, like, you know how you do like the.
Oh, like a
rewind?
catch. Yeah, but I don't even know how to do that.
Rewind somehow while you're doing an inverted spin.
Oh my god, how the see, I can, that's what it looks like when I do it, because I switch stick positions, I don't know. Like, I can do both directions, but every time I switch, it looks like that.
I have.
Damn it. I don't know what... So wait, so... I don't even know how to, like, think in my brain. Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
It won't even, like, how can I start spinning the other direction? Without going up the... So I need to stay like this, but... No, that's gonna obviously turn me that way. Well, can I go further this way? Oh my gosh! Is that what you do? Oh no, that couldn't be it. Can it? Oh! You son of a bitch! I got you. Haha! Figured it out. You keep going the same roll direction, and then it like flips you over somehow. I don't understand what's happening, but it seemed to work.
And that will do it for week number 7's challenge, the inverted orbits, brought to you by HDZero. Again, just make sure that we're keeping the point of interest in the top portion of our screen, except for when we're doing the switchback. It's okay to veer a little bit here or there during the switchback, but make sure you return back to center to get that at least one orbit in the other direction locked in. And as far as for the other two, step 1, step 2, they can be done in separate clips, but please remember step 3, you need to do it all in one clip. But that'll do it for me today. Thank you so much for watching. Good luck this week, and we'll see you in the next one.